Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. So what exactly is a fat quarter? You may be reading a pattern or in a fabric store and see something called a fat quarter and wonder exactly what is it and what is it used for. So this fat quarter here I picked up at Walmart, and you'll see that it says it's 18 by 21 inches. They're usually 100% cotton, and they're either pre-packaged like this or sometimes they're rolled. Sometimes you can get them in a bundle that has like 5 or 6 together. But essentially it is a quarter yard of fabric that is just cut differently. So you'll see this piece of plaid fabric right here, this is a yard, okay? If you were to buy a yard of fabric, this would be your yard. Your fold is here, your selvages are here. So it's about 45 inches wide by the 36-inch yard. If you were to buy a quarter yard of fabric, this yellow piece here, this is a quarter yard. So here's your fold, your selvages. So you have the 45 inches wide, but a quarter yard is 9 inches. It's a quarter of your yard of fabric. Now a fat quarter is essentially, it's the same amount of fabric as a quarter yard. It's just cut differently. Instead of being one long strip, it's actually more of a square. I have this one here that I unfolded, and you'll see once it's laid out, it looks like it's equal to about half a yard. And essentially that's what it is. A fat quarter is a half a yard of fabric, but it's single layer. It's cut on the fold here instead of being doubled. But it's the same as this here. Here's 9 inches here and 9 inches there. So it's the same amount of fabric as a quarter yard. It's just cut differently. Instead of being a long strip, it's more of a square shape. What are the advantages to this? Well, if you're making a quilt or a craft project where, say, you need a piece that's bigger than 9 inches. So say you're making a tote bag or something that calls for a piece of fabric that you need to cut that's 12 by 12. Well, instead of buying 12 inches of fabric and having a lot left over, you can buy a fat quarter. You can easily get your cut in here because it is 18 inches, which is half a yard, by the 21 inches, which is essentially half of the 45 inches wide. Now do keep in mind that most fabrics, even though they're called 45 inches wide, usually are only about 42 inches wide, which is why this is listed as 21 inches by 18 inches. So this piece here can be very good, especially since, like say here, these have really big pineapples on them. So if they have a big print, you may have to buy more fabric to accommodate that print, or if you buy a fat quarter, you can easily get your piece to fussy cut. It just depends on the project. It just depends. If you're quilting and you need a lot of strips, something like this would be more economical because you get a lot of width. If you just need squares, or say one square of a certain fabric, something like this would be more economical because you don't end up with a lot of waste. So I hope that helps when buying fat quarters or seeing them in the store. Just be careful when using them. If a pattern calls for a quarter yard of fabric, then you can essentially use a fat quarter. If a pattern calls for half a yard, you would have to get 2 fat quarters. You'd have to get essentially one for the top part and then a second one for the bottom part. Because as I said, it is cut on the fold. So I hope that helps in all your fabric shopping and creating. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more great sewing, quilting, and crafting videos. And happy sewing!